You know the drill by now. Pencils in hand, notebooks at the ready. We're going to wrap up in week 4, putting everything you've learned together. We've seen bits, we've seen pieces, but how does it work together for my purposes? I want to take my photos and in way less than 5 minutes, I want to make them superstar masterpieces using all the techniques that we've learned. This week we're going to talk, this main lesson at least, we're going to talk mostly about presets. So let me sneak in and get you into an image. Let's just take an image. I'm going to open it in Adobe Camera Raw. And what are presets? Presets are a saved conglomeration of everything I've done globally. So make your changes. Make any changes. I'm playing with the overall temperature of the image. You see where I am? From the top to the bottom. The overall tint. Now, temperature and tint, we've already talked about this. It's blueness to yellowness versus greenness to magentaness. That's me just playing, okay? By eye. Exposure, I get to play by eye. Contrast, you'll get the idea all the way. Every change I've made, I've already made 5 down the row here, and on and on and on. Now I can continue to the next panel. Curves. I'm going to make a little S curve here for contrast. Cool. Hey, but now my highlights look a little hot. I can always go back and fix. Right? Whites, highlights, they're married. Shadows, blacks, they're married. I'm just playing as I continue. I can always backtrack. Let's go to detail. Sharpening. We haven't spent a lot of time talking about sharpening, but I'm going to give you a bonus video on sharpening and really unpack that for you. That is the place, I think, that amateurs make the biggest mistake. Professionals know how to sharpen. They know they need to sharpen. We often don't. We think we take a focused photo and that's it. More on that in a bonus video. Color mixer, we discussed it. That's the equivalent of what I call the claw, Command Shift Option or Control Alt Shift. So grab your pen, and if you haven't written that down yet, we're about to go big. The claw. It'll be easier to write than Command, Shift, Option every time you write it, or Control, Alt, Shift on the PC every time you write it. Just write claw. Claw S was our saturation. That flesh looks a little orange. I'm going to click on it and dial it down. That orange flesh is dialed back, but it's global, right? I mean, it's dialed that back everywhere in the image, but I really felt it most there on the flesh tone. Claw H for hue. I could change a hue. That pink should go more yellow or more purple. That lets me steer the color wheel 30 degrees out of 360 degrees in a total circle. 30 degrees one way, or 30 degrees the other, from whatever the original color was. We learned that. Claw L for luminance. My sky could be a little darker. Okay, now, and only if I've clicked black and white first. Check out the button. Can I do Claw G for my grayscale mixer and make the blues darker? Whatever that color was, darker, brighter, I'm playing. Mixing my own grayscale. Those were all 4 of the claws. We've done a lot. And whatever it is I've done, I can save it. Have you been keeping track of everything I just did? Neither have I. I have no idea what I've done, all these things collectively, but I'm not finished yet. Look, I'm going to go down here to the color grader, which is what we discussed already last week 3, and I'm going to make my shadows do something, And my highlights do the opposite of that something on the real color wheel. Okay, I'm mixing. I'm making a two-tone. Now this is working for me because I already made it grayscale. Now it's still doing those color shifts. If I cancel out my black and white, it is still bumping my shadows to blue and my highlights to yellow, trust me. But for now, I think I'd like to see it with black and white and that color tonality added to it. I'm scrolling down. We've talked about this. I can play with the balance. I want more blue in that, in the shadows, where I want more of the highlight pop. Up to me. I'm going to close that panel. I'm going to close the basic panel. I'm just letting you look. Optics, distortion. If I want to, I could manually distort the image. You know, I kind of like that closer up. I'm going to keep that. Vignette, darkening the corners and the edges. These are all global controls. Close the optics. I keep going. Geometry, if I were going to do Shift T, let's do it. Shift T. Straight up and down through her backbone. And then straight across what I think ought to be straight, and let that all happen. I just did Shift T. I can crop and say, well, now that I see that, I kind of think I want more of this. Enter. I'm playing with all the sliders we've already talked through globally. All right? And on and on. Now, we haven't talked about this calibration slider. It's not really a calibration slider. It's another way to color shift, but there you go. Anyway, I've got all these changes made. Whew. I might want to save this as a snapshot. Command-Shift-S on the Mac. Control-Shift-S on the PC. Save it as a snapshot. I'm going to call it Well Done. Bang. I just saved it as a snapshot. See how I did that? Command-Shift-S. Control-Shift-S. I just saved a snapshot on purpose to show you a very similar keyboard shortcut. It's this. Command-Shift-P. Control-Shift-P for save everything I've just done to this image. Well done. As a preset, all of it. I'm saving my very own Topaz or Nick preset. I'm saving my custom preset. Whatever I did. Right now, it's saving almost everything. I'm going to call this a good job preset, okay? Now, why am I calling it a good job? Because if I called it well done, it would show up alphabetically at the bottom in my W's, but if I have the letter A at the beginning of it, it'll show up near the top. That's where I'm hoping to find this in just a moment as I show you where we see and edit and use these. I'm just saving everything I've done as a preset. Well, almost everything. Look, it didn't save my geometry. I don't remember what that was. I'm going to twist this little arrowhead over. Oh, that was my Shift T. Yeah, I don't think it has to save the Shift T. I'll leave it unchecked. Is there anything else I don't need it to? I don't need it to do that calibration panel, which I really didn't play with anyway, and so on. Here's what you're saying. What part of what you did would you like me to save for future use to add on to whatever you've done to an image? Oh, well, I'd like it to convert to black and white. I'm leaving that on. Basic. White balance and all the rest of that, nah, I'll do that by hand on every other image I play with, but I might want it to throw this color cast into it. So I'm turning that off. Don't save that into my preset. Don't save my curve or my detail. But my color grading, yes, please. You see what I'm saying? That distortion I did? No, that was under optics. Any special effects like the vignette? Nah. Okay, that's it. I can pick and choose which parts of what, down to the individual items, if I choose to, into that preset. I'm going to say okay. Okay. Let's reset. I'm option clicking or alt clicking, cancel, reset. There it is. Do you remember the shortcut that we use to save a preset? Because it's the easiest way to do it. It's like save, Command Shift S, Control Shift S, but it was P for presets. Command or Control Shift P. That's how you save one. Now earlier you saw me save a snapshot, but how do I see a snapshot? It's not Command Shift S or Control Shift S because that makes me save one. It's plain old Shift S. And when you go to Shift S, it lets you see your presets. It lets you see your presets. When you do Shift P, oh, I'm sorry, did I just say Shift S lets me see my presets? I'm getting ahead of myself. Shift S lets me see my snapshots. Shift P lets me see my presets. Those are shortcuts. Now, if you don't want to know the shortcuts, and I don't mind if you don't want to know the shortcuts, let me show you the long cuts. It's not long. Over on the side panel, in the tools along the right edge, there are your snapshots. I want to see them. There are your presets, this double circle trick. I want to see them. It's not a very long cut. I just gave you the shortcuts. Now, saving. If you don't use the Command or Control Shift P to save, you have to come over to the presets panel, and then you have to aim for that little tear off 3M sticky sheet. I think I just voided someone's copyright by saying it. There it is. Create a preset. So you have to click that button if you don't know the keyboard shortcut. Now the same is true for snapshots. If you don't know the keyboard shortcut, you have to click on snapshots and tap that little new button. That's what that is right there. Save a new snapshot. Your call. Completely up to you. But remember when I snuck over here and save my preset, I'm scrolling down. And by the way, look, as I just hover, I'm not clicking. I'm just moving my mouse over various already saved by Ricky Burris saved presets. Have I saved some presets? And when I get down to one called A Good Job, bang, it applies whatever I checked in the save preset. I got a bunch. That's the key. Make some changes, save it as a preset. Pencil in hand. Big word of help here. When you save a preset, it goes into something called user presets. User presets. They're yours. You made them. But they don't have all the power, the superpower of favorites. And if you want to give your presets that you save a superpower, and you do, this is a big help. You got to go click a little star to the left of the name. When you hover, it shows you an empty star. Click it. Good job. And now it is saved in your favorites as well. Oh, there it is. Good job. Why do I want them in both places? I'll show you in a moment. I'll show you in a moment. I just want to make sure that you write down the star. Now, I'm going to leave this image without that preset applied. I did, in fact, save a preset. A good job. And There it is, a good job. And I put a star by it, but I'm not going to save the image with it applied. I'm just going to say done, and I'm going to show you why. If you want to batch process multiple images, this is a magic trick in Bridge. I'm not even in Adobe Camera Raw. I'm not even in Adobe Camera Raw. I'm in Bridge. And in Bridge, if I select an image or any number of images, and I right-click on a 2-button mouse or on the Mac, Control key click on that image or any group of selected images, you can change how this image is developed. What are these? What is that? Oh, directly from Bridge, you get full access to all of your presets. I mean, to all of your favorite presets. That's why we add the star. They don't show up here. You can't do this trick if you don't put a star by those user presets, your user presets. So do it, because I want to use them out here too. Now, before I click it, let me just spacebar. Right? Remember the last time I left it, it was still in full living color, but now I right-click or Control key click, redevelop it. Good job. And I let it roll. And you're going to see here in a moment, the thumbnail just updated. The image changed outside of Adobe Camera Raw. And I can do that to any number of selected images. For batch processing, you can create one preset, a one-off, that does whatever you need it to do to all the wedding photos. If you can think of things that may apply to every wedding photo. Now, certainly, some things are going to be specific to each photo, but what things aren't? Sharpening. I want to sharpen them all. Maybe they're all going to be black and white. Black and white them all. Maybe two-tone them. Two-tone them all. Fix the contrast on all. Maybe the white balance was off. White balance correct them all. And save that as a preset. And you can apply it to an entire group of images. Wow, that is really cool. Okay, let's have some fun. Tripods for sale. You saw me do that. A last series of images. I'm going to select all in Bridge. Command A, Control A in Bridge. I'm going to right click. Let's develop as a good job. Look, Ma, no hands. You're done. Oh, hang on a second. It looks like it's going to take a little time. That's what I do. I run my presets. I don't work. I relax. I take a bathroom break. I pour myself another cup of coffee. I read the news. I do whatever I need to do while it does all the work automatically for me. Bottom line. You ready? Open Camera Raw. Make your global changes. Number 2, save those changes as a preset. It will give you the opportunity to pick and choose which criteria to save or not save as you save that preset. You can apply that preset to individual images. But I've shown you a new magic trick where you can come out into Bridge and apply that develop setting to several images all at once while you drink coffee. Now, what I just showed you was saving global presets. Take a deep breath. You drink some coffee. Look at your notes. Make sure that you see somewhere on that paper, saving global presets. I opened an image. I made some changes. Let's go to color grading for giggles. And I want it to be a different color. Let's say I'm just playing bluish. I'm playing. I now have a bluish purple. I don't want it to, yeah, I will leave it black and white. Whatever it is that I did, how did I save it? Command Shift P or Control Shift P. Save it. I might even call it bluish purple, whatever I want to call it. I will, in fact, now save everything just so that you can see I don't have to do anything. I didn't save everything, but if I check all, I'll save everything. Everything. Okay. I'm done. I've saved a preset. Or am I? Let's go look at the presets and see quickly. One of these doesn't have a star next to it. Bluish purple. Why? I didn't add it yet. I'm going to add that star so that I can apply it to an entire batch. One of those is bluish purple. Select all, including the one that's already bluish purple, and Control click, redevelop, and go find my bluish purple. Where are you, bluish purple? There you are. All right, so I've explained the great mystery of what all these are. Those are my saved presets. Really? Really? Wow, that's a lot of presets, Rick. Can I have them? Yes. If you want my presets, send me an email this week, and I'm going to send you, just because I always get asked this every time I teach this, I'm going to send you my presets. And here they are. They're in a zip file. They're in a zip file. Rick's presets. All right, they're already in a zip file, and you don't have to unzip them. I'm going to send that to you as an attachment to email. If you want it, just pull that attachment out so you can see it. And then when you go into Adobe Camera Raw, when you're in Adobe Camera Raw, I'm going to show you. Oh, I think I'm opening all these at one time. I am. Okay, cool. Go to your presets. And there's a little presets where I asked for new. Oh, there's big 3 dots. That's not what I'm after. Little 3 dots. There it is. Not the big ones, the little ones. Import profiles and presets. And you'll go out and point unzipped to that zip file and import, and you're done. You'll have all my presets. You might not want all my presets, but there it is if you want to try them. There'll be a little glitch. It'll take you a little coffee break. That when you get my user presets, they won't have stars. It doesn't know yet that they're your favorites. And I don't know of a way to star all of them at once. So it's going to take you a little time to click each one that you might want to be your preset favorites. All right? That's it. That's what the cost is to you. Otherwise, these are free. I have already built them. Now, some of you are going to ask me, how do I get presets from Lightroom? In Lightroom, you can export your presets and you can re-import them just like that into Bridge. That's one way. There are actually lots of ways to get your Lightroom. I can think of 2 more automatically right now. So presets aren't hard. They're just everything you could have done saved into an image, saved as a preset. That's the easiest way to get your presets. You can have mine. I'm going to cancel. Another benefit of the Bridge pop-up to the presets, the Bridge Develop. I'm right-clicking or control-clicking on the Mac, control-clicking, and I'm going to go back to Develop. I can also do these 2 magic tricks. Clear every setting I've ever done on those photos. Take those photos back to the way they were when they came off my camera. That is a giant reset. Again, Adobe Camera Raw is non-destructive. You can't hurt the baby. You can take the baby. In fact, you can take the whole family of babies all the way back to birth. That's disgusting, but you can do it. You can go all the way back to the way they came off your camera and start completely over. Another reason I use this is when people send me their photos and I go, oh my gosh, they have blown this. I have no idea what they did, but it looks horrible. I can select all and right-click, develop settings, and clear them. Now, I can also do this. I can say, hey, do me a favor and automatically apply my Camera Raw defaults to all those images, even if they didn't come off my camera. Well, how do I create my own set of defaults, Rick? We're going to go there next. It's doing it. I can create a preset, save it as a favorite, so I can apply it to multiple images at one time here in Bridge, or I can wipe them out back to the time they came off the camera, and or I can automatically apply a preset to my Camera Raw defaults. Let's go back in and talk about our Camera Raw defaults. Presets, how to save them, how to use them. You're good. You're good. If you find you're not good, send me questions this week. I'm not going to leave you hanging. Even though you're going to get a certificate saying you've completed the course, I'm not going to leave you hanging until I complete even this final week's Yours Day video. Take advantage. Take advantage. All right. I need this. I need a preset first before I can save a Camera Raw default. What happens by default whenever Rick Burris opens photos? What happens automatically that I don't even have to think about or pay attention to? It just happens automatically. What you do is you create, again, just like we've done, anything you want to happen. Be cautious, however. Start with a fresh photo. Don't go back to an old one because you don't know what you did to the old photo. Start with a new image. That's the safest bet. Take a fresh photo, bring it in, look at an untouched photo, and you might want to play with the sharpening. You might want to hit auto. That would be enough. I'll show you more. Save a preset, and I have saved a preset, you'll see, and I named it D810 Ricks Dual Color Calib. Expialidocious. There it is. That is one that I saved. And if I want to see what I did inside it, I'm going to right click. I'm going to look at the information. Well, it's in a user preset. That doesn't give me much info. I'm not seeing anything. Where's it telling me what I did? Go back to the main screens and you'll see it's just showing you what you did. I saved it with a camera profile. More on that later. I must have done some stuff. Under detail, I sharpened it, so that's stored in my preset. Auto was stored in my preset. All right. I have a preset. You know how to make one. Pick and choose carefully for your default. It's what's going to apply to every photo that you ever open. So be judicious. There are a few things you want to apply to every photo. I think sharpening is a good one. And I'm going to give you more information on that coming up. If you have a camera calibration, apply that. All right. Week 1, I told you about this. Week 4, we're going to play it out. We're wrapping up loose ends in week 4. I'm in Adobe Camera Raw. I'm going to go up to the top right corner and click the gear. That is my Camera Raw profiles. It's one of 2 ways to get here. Actually, there are lots of ways to get here, but there it is. But I'm going to go to Raw defaults. Hey, which preset would you like me to apply? Which global preset would you like me to apply to all the photos that you take, Rick? And I went and found my preset. That one, I said. I can get even more specific. I want you to override the global settings for specific cameras if you want, or I can say no, yes. Right now it's going to do that to every photo I take with any camera by default. But if I say override the settings, then I can say, but for my specific cameras, each one that have different serial numbers or different models of camera, it gives me the opportunity to come out and select a preset for it. Which camera, choose a preset for each individual camera. Wow, mind blown. How could that be useful? Well, on my Nikon D300, my ISO isn't so great, right? We saw that in week 3. So I could set a preset that tries to eliminate some of the noise that I'm going to get on my D300, but I don't want it to use that noise removal setting on my D810 full frame. It doesn't require it. So 2 separate defaults. Adobe Camera Raw reads the metadata. It knows which camera it comes from, and it applies the defaults automatically. You don't have to do the work. There's not even time to drink coffee. It did it so quick. Oh, man. That's how you set up your preset defaults, your global defaults for every photo you ever open. Now, I'm going to get a phone call. I'm going to get an email from somebody here who's going to say, Rick, I don't know what's happening, but every time I look at a photo now in Camera Raw, they're black and white. It's because you clicked black and white and you saved a preset. And you made that black and white preset your default. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because whatever you do to the test image and save in your preset will be what every photo starts as. That's the default. Any questions? Talk to me. We just talked about creating a global preset. I showed you how a global preset using those main panels, I showed you how a global preset can be saved, stored as your Camera Raw default. It's a lot of talk. You've got to see it in action. But wait, there's more. There are also local presets. Local presets. It gets a little trickier here. Global presets, you're done. You already know that. But I'm going to get a local tool. I'm going to get my adjustment brush. That's not global. That's local. I know. And what I'm going to do is sneak over here and say, I'd like a little more. I'm scrolling down to the effects area. I'd like a little more texture to show up. I think I want a little more clarity to pop in. Clarity often, however, plugs up my shadows. So I'm going to tell my shadows to compensate for that, bump up a little bit. Now, I don't know if what I've done is going to be good or not. I just don't know. So I'm going to sneak over and use it. Too much on the shadow, so I'm going to dial that back down. And now I can watch it happen. I can watch my clarity bump. I'm readjusting now that I can see what I got going. Okay? I'm going to scroll down. Yeah, but now that it looks like there's a little noise reduction, and are up a little bit. There. I've just taken a local tool, my adjustment brush, and I applied 1 slider, 2 sliders, 3 sliders, 4 sliders. And now I'm going to save that as a preset, but it's not going to be a global preset. And the preset panel only shows you global presets. That's what those are. So watch me very carefully. My brush presets. No. Oh, here it is. My adjustment preset. None. I can pop up on it, however, and say, no, what I just did, save it as a new one. Save everything I just did as a new adjustment local preset. Give it a name. Let's call this one AAA. Good job. Now, better names are going to be useful to you, because the more of these you create, the more you're going to go, I don't know what a good job is. So I give mine names like more clarity, or whiten teeth, or desaturate red eye. Things like that. I give myself better names. But for now, I'm just going to give you this name so we'll recognize it. I say, okay, it didn't save a global preset. I'm going to hit cancel. Let me just get out of here so you can see what happens. Let's open another image. I'm going to get my adjustment brush. I hit the letter K. I accidentally hit the letter L and it rotated left. That's just me. These are bananas. I'm in my brush, and now in my brush tool, sneak over to the adjustment preset and choose AAA Good Job. I know that 4 sliders are about to hop. Let's look. Right now, these sliders are all at zeros. And I'm going to sneak up and say, pick AAA Good Job. You know what's going to happen. All those sliders hopped to where they were the last time I saved it, just so that I can solve a little problem right here on the bag. Man, this is awesome. This is so awesome. I'm going to hit the letter P for preview, before and after, and you can see I just added clarity, detail enhancement to that part of the image, my hero. Now, if I did it globally, everything would get sharp, but I don't want the carpet to be sharp. I want the product I'm selling to be sharp. That's why painting with a local brush is terrific. Not global. I love local presets, otherwise known as adjustment presets. Now, let me let you go see some of my other local presets. More clarity with slight brightness. Now notice I named those 2, 3, if you count ocean, with a bullet at the beginning. Now, I honestly don't know how to type a bullet on a PC. On a Mac, I know it's Option 8. I'm sorry, PC users, but for me, I know I can do Option 8 and a bullet shows up at the beginning of the name and it makes these show up at the top. PC users, I'm going to keep going. Temp is one that I use temporarily. I don't want to keep it forever. I'm just going to do it for this set of jobs, this set of photos right here. I make a change, and it worked on that photo. I save it as temp, and I save it over to the old temp, and I know I can just use it temporarily. For me, that's just a little scratch pad, a little holding tank for little things I might do. Here's one, a little darker, a little lighter, all zeros. Angel halos. Some of these are silly. Blue sky. Catch light contrast. I'll talk more about that in a bonus video. Catch light maker. Chloe's eyes. My daughter's got gorgeous blue eyes. Oh, I saved a preset. Dark saturate, darken corners only, edge treatment, desaturation, red eye fix. You get the idea. My son Jacob gets his own eyes fix. Look at the bottoms here. A sunshine brush. It's a brush that fakes sunshine. Turquoise seas, it makes my seas look, my Hawaiian ocean shots look better. Under eye fix. Some people use makeup to fix something they think under their eyes. Well, whatever. I faked that with an under eye fix. Whiten the eyes, whiten the teeth. These are feminine, less texture, no brighter. Okay, and on a great blonde hair, great clouds, and on it goes. I'll never run out of things to do it. Byron the Great. How did that sneak in there? What a control click or right click. I got to go get rid of those. Oh, I just clicked on Byron the Great. And now when I look up, I can delete it. Yeah, that's out of here. If I misnamed one, temp, I click and I look up and I can rename it. Let's rename temp. I don't know what I was thinking. I wanted to call it AAA and a capital T temp. I renamed it. So you can rename them, delete them, create a new one. You can also make a change. I don't know what I was thinking when I made that so bright. So I'm going to make a change, save a new one, and if I give it the same name as a previous one, I'm good to go. It just overwrites it. And that's what's good for my temp, right? Oh, now this is what I want temp to be. Oh, this is now what I want temp to be. That's the only one that I vary on. The rest of these, I'll start with, let's cancel, and then I'll make adjustments later. You're not stuck with your brushes. You're not stuck with them. Let's find another here. All right. I'm going to open an image. It's already been edited globally. It's already had some snapshots saved in it. By the way, someone asked, my dear friend John asked, where do all the snapshots go when you save them? They all get embedded in the original photo. That one photo has all the snapshots stored in it. I'm going to hit the letter K for an adjustment brush, which is a local tool. I'm going to scroll down, look for my adjustment presets, and I can see temp, a good job, a little lighter, whatever it is, right? Let's pick feminine, less texture. Boom. What is that for? Well, that smooths skin. But it looks like it might have also smoothed her eyeballs. So I'm going to hold the Alt key and change my brush size. Alt. See how the middle of your brush has a plus sign? When you hold the Alt or the Option key, it turns into a minus sign. I can subtract what I just did. Right there. So now I've said, hey, do it to the flesh, but don't do it to the eyes or the teeth. I don't even know what those settings were. All I know is in a galaxy far away, I set a bunch of sliders. I liked the result, and I saved them as a local preset. Done. Hey, by the way, do you want my local presets too? I'll send you those. The local presets are more difficult to install, but I'll send you instructions for how to install the local presets as well. You can have my set of local presets, whiten eyes, whiten teeth. You can start with those and you can always make a change. You're not stuck with my slider settings. It's a good starting point. You can always adjust to taste. I do. Every image requires a little something extra. It does. So I'll start with more clarity and then I'll work it to taste per image, right? Adjustment brush, more clarity. It just sets all my brush sliders. But I could go, well, thanks for the start, but right now I want to add a little bit more in the shadow department. Very good. So you're not stuck with them. They're just starting points for your slider settings. Okay? Now, if you look at your notes, you've got global presets. You've got which global preset you can save as a raw workflow default. And now you know how to do local presets. This is magic. This is why Bridge is so fast. I got a story for you. I hear from Lightroom users, particularly wedding photographers. I'm not going to argue with them. Do you know what the average amount of time is for a bride and groom to receive their wedding photos back from a wedding photographer? What would you guess? The average. I have friends who just got married, well, a year ago. They're still waiting for their wedding photos. It's been a year. The average is 4 months. Look it up. The average amount of time a bride and groom wait for their photos to be delivered is 4 months. Now, when I try to get a wedding job, I'll sit with the bride and her mother, because that's who we're actually selling. Sorry, grooms, you don't count. And I'll tell them, I promise you, if you like my quality, I promise you this, you will have all of your wedding photos within 1 week. That's usually enough to get me the work. Well, how can I do that? Oh, wait, I'm not finished. Have you ever heard under promise and over deliver? Let me tell you what I've done in every wedding I've ever shot. I've made that promise that I guarantee you'll have your photos within 1 week. But when do they have their photos? They have their photos next morning. Day of the wedding, they go off, and I don't know what they do on their honeymoons. I've read books. And when they wake up in the morning, their photos are waiting for them. The rest of the bridal party are still in town. They can send them to all their friends. They can Facebook, Instagram, and twit all they want to do, because I over-deliver. How can I edit an entire wedding the day I shoot it? How can I edit an entire wedding, Lightroom users, within the same day, guaranteed by overnight? How? I don't know how. Lightroom users, I'm going to let you chew on that. I don't know how. Hey, but I know how I can do it here with Bridge and Adobe Camera Raw. You're seeing it. Here's how I guarantee in a week, but here's how I deliver. I can get them done like this. Whenever I go on a photo shoot and there's a group of photographers on that photo shoot, mine are the first to land delivered. We let the rest trickle in over days or weeks. That gives me a better reputation. If my shots are good, if my edits are great, and my delivery is quickest, who can compete? Amazing. Bridge is fast and furious. No import, direct edits, exports and saves. It's incredible. Camera Raw, big part of that. All right, I think that's enough for now. Main lesson 4, presets and default profiles, right? I've got 2 kinds of presets, global presets and local presets. The adjustment brush is local. So is the letter G. So is the gradient. The gradient. I'm going to do a gradient from here to there at that angle and sneak over and then choose a preset a little lighter. The same presets I built for my brush can also be used for my gradients. My radial gradient, my linear gradient, and my brush. Brush, K. Gradient, G. Linear, that's a linear gradient. Radial gradient is J. We're going to unpack some more of this in bonus videos upcoming. That's it for lesson 4. Be sure that you take a break, get refreshed, maybe take a nap, and then come back and we'll start hitting this week's bonus videos as we tie up all of our loose ends. Thanks for sticking with me.